Well, hello, Crime Stoppers. Oh, it's getting great. Had to make a quick video. Well, it's not going to be quick. It'll be 15 minutes long. Me ranting, you know. But let's just do some math here. Again, Crouton Ramon's House of Math. Click the link down there. If you've got young children, people are saying I'm underexposed and more people need to see this, and people are always fascinated and amazed. But the idea is, if you had some critical thinking skills and math under your belt, they could never get away with what they're doing now. Let's try it. Let's just go with what's going on with the whole Romney thing and the delegate count. All right, first off, okay, just in the first place, the delegate count for Romney are made-up numbers, completely. They don't know the numbers. They're basically, like, say, Maine, for example. In the delegate count, they had all those guys for Romney in Maine. Well, it turns out none of those guys, well, okay, maybe 3 of those guys in Maine are for Romney, and the rest of them are for Ron Paul. Okay, so that would be 21 that he just swept up over there. Okay, in Nevada, because Romney, and again, they steal the elections, right? It's amazing. It's just amazing. These guys rip us off, and then they try to insult us and add insult to injury. Where, well, we'll get to it. Look at the CNN video that I have posted down there. CNN and TASS, they're the same thing. What a crock. I mean, contains no news at its finest. But same thing with all the other stations. If you're watching TV, you're not getting the story. The story is Romney is the presumptive candidate. And in Nevada, 22 out of 25. Now see, because they rigged the vote in Nevada, and Romney was the winner, they basically, what do the mainstream media outlets do? They put all the delegates for Nevada in the Romney column. Well, guess what? 22 of those are for Ron Paul. You need to subtract the ones that are for Ron Paul out of the ones that are for Romney. And that's going to keep happening state after state after state. There are very few winner-take-all states. Take a look at Rule 38. You know what Rule 38 is? Take a look at the rules anyway. And see, this is the whole thing. Ron Paul supporters get out there, follow the rules, right? And they're trying to make it sound like, even on RT, that Ron Paul supporter, see, this is the kind of thing that pisses me off. I even had a student in here earlier and asked him, what kind of government do we have, a democracy or a republic? And he's like, a democracy? No, we have a republic. We have a representative form of government. We have a Republican form of government. The popular vote, the straw poll votes, that's the beauty contest, as they say. But that's the idea, is that, okay, that gives the delegates the idea of who's most popular. Now, what's happened is these votes have been co-opted, corrupted, stolen, because you have decided that it's a better idea to have some foreign company or to have some establishment Republican company count the votes for you, right? With these easy hack 100 voting machines. Because think about it, if 100 people count 1,000 ballots each, and you have basically, it takes 300 people to do this because you need one from each side, right? You need some impartial observers watching the vote. It would take 1,000 votes, right? What does that count? It takes an hour or two to count 1,000 votes out, yay or nay, on a paper ballot. So 1,000 per 100, that's 100,000. So there you go, 300 people can count 100,000 ballots. And you do that precinct by precinct. This is the way it was supposed to be. This is the way you were supposed to be involved in the process, right? This is self-government, right? This is self-governance, friends. This is not government from on high by Obama or Romney or the Republican National Committee or the Democratic National Committee or any of those guys. It's us, and them is supposed to be us. Anyhow, they're trying to pick out the candidate for you, obviously. So the Ron Paul guys go in there, they follow the rules, they overwhelm them because they are the overwhelming, numbers for Ron Paul. It's not just, some freak of nature or some fluke. What we have here is they got their votes stolen at the polls, and now they're showing up to the delegate process. And the delegate process works like this. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Nay. Right? And then people can look around and see those votes can't be stolen easily. So what we have is the delegates that are picking the delegates to go to the state convention are Ron Paul supporters, and then all the delegates that are going to the conventions in various states are Ron Paul supporters, because as a majority of the people that are politically involved, politically active, went out to vote, had their votes stolen, and then showed up to become delegates and alternates and to nominate delegates, it's Ron Paul people. If Romney had the majority would be for Romney, and that's not the case. Even in Massachusetts, Maine, Iowa, Nevada, over and over again, you see Ron Paul people taking over this party. And see, what I'd like to see now is we've got, we need more. We need Rand Paul to get out and campaign for his father. Rand, I'm sure would draw crowds. Probably not as big because he's not as popular as his dad, but he could still go out and, you know, fill rooms easily campaigning for Ron Paul, right? Rand is a big draw, I'm sure of it, and we need more campaign stops. But see, the guy can only be so many places at once, and when he does show up, what do we get? We get thousands and thousands of people showing up for Ron Paul. And what do we get for Romney? We don't get thousands and thousands of people showing up for Romney. Why isn't Romney running around? Show me any footage of Romney in California pulling 5,000 people, pulling 1,000 people, pulling 7,000 people, pulling, you know, 1,000 people for Ron Paul. That's that's one of his fundraising dinners where it's a couple $100 to sit down with him. You know, that's 1,000 people. When it comes to these crowds where he's filling arenas, 3,000, 4,000 people, that's nothing. 2,000 people, that's nothing for Ron Paul. Romney can't seem to get a crowd like this, and yet he's the presumptive candidate. And then look at what the mainstream media, how they're reporting this. Like, oh, maybe he'll get a seat. Maybe he'll get a good slot in the Republican convention. Get a good slot. He's going to be on the ballot, my friends. There's no way around it now. He's won enough states where he's going to be on the ballot. Now here's what they're going to do, and here's what Romney's trying to do, right? He's trying to try and contest the delegates. They're going to try and flip the delegates over, and they're going to try and say that, it wasn't. First off, they change all the rules to make it as hard as possible. The Ron Paul people comply to the rules, and they still wind up sweeping up the delegates, and now they want to change it again, or now they want to contest it. So get ready for a fight, guys. And I mean, everybody get ready for a fight everywhere, and I'm talking about a figurative fight, right? A fight when it comes down to ideas and words in conventions and caucuses and so forth, because these guys are going to try and break the rules, bend the rules, do whatever they can to try and steal delegates from Ron Paul. Expect this. The same thing I said a long time ago, expect the vote fraud. All right? Well, expect them to try and overturn the delegates. Expect them to play as dirty pool as they possibly can, right? Like they try to do in Nevada. This is what you have to expect. This is American politics. Like I said, are you new here? Are you guys new here? And this is the thing that annoys me is these guys talking about, it's an arcane process and it's, very hard to understand. No, it's not. And you should have had civics in your damn state anyway. But of course, they don't teach you civics in high school or college. So you should understand how the freaking delegate process works in your state. So we've had Delegate Education. I put links down there. There's, links to how to become a delegate, links on, how to go to your state and make sure that you understand the delegate process in your state. It's not that complicated. Really, it's not. Right? There's all kinds of rules and procedures to follow for each state. We've got 50 states, and it's basically 50 different countries all under one flag, right? And you guys need to understand how the delegate process works. And most people don't. This is true. See, this is what's been happening in American politics for the last, 100 years. We've been hijacked. We've got the good old boys and their money picking presidents for you. Look where we are. We're around the world spending blood and treasure. Our guys are all over the place getting killed. We've got a Federal Reserve that's happy to print our money for us and loan it to us at interest. We've got a drug war going on that's absolutely failed policy. That's basically Jim Crow, taking as many, Hispanics, blacks, any minorities, and sticking them in jail, taking away their rights, right? Giving them felonies so they can't bear arms, so they can't vote, right? Disenfranchising them completely for a few joints. We've got a system now that is for profit, right? The drug war is a for-profit war. Absolutely, and they're making money, and it's obscene the amount of money they're making, but it's nothing compared to the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq where they just made ludicrous, money you guys can't even imagine, billions and billions of dollars. Okay, this is what happens when you lose control of your government. This is what happens when you lose control of the Republican process that our founding fathers set up for us. All right, we're suffering under it right now. And people have woken up in droves. The Ron Paul people are waking up. And like I said, you see it on all over the place on Facebook, these Romney supporters, these Obama supporters. Yeah, just debate them a little bit, and they fall like leaves. They run away. Or they'll start saying the most ridiculous and stupid things because they have no idea how the process works. They have no idea about sound monetary policy. They have no idea about the drug war and the consequences. They have no idea about the TSA or the DEA or the FDA or the EPA and how they're out of control and in the hip pocket, right? Their idea is that the government is the solution to our problems. And when you give them the information that no, this is not the case, government is oftentimes the problem, they're dumbfounded. When you tell them that Obama's a warmonger, they're dumbfounded. This guy went to war in Libya with no authorization whatsoever, and he's got Panetta in front of Congress basically telling Congress to screw off, we'll get authorization from the UN or NATO or wherever else, and that Congress has somehow become, you know, irrelevant. Where, you know, have you read the Constitution? All right, this is where we are now, because you went to sleep at the wheel. I went to sleep at the wheel too. Voting for the lesser of two evils. Voting against, you know, you didn't vote for Gore, you voted against Bush. You didn't vote for Obama, you voted against McCain and Palin. You didn't vote for, right? Okay, well actually some of you may have actually voted for Obama. But we've been doing that for the longest time, where you were voting against George Bush Sr., not for Clinton, etc. Okay, look where we are, guys. You see where we are? Now, this needs to change, and this is actual change, not Mr. McHopey Changey Pants change, where actually nothing changed, and all he does is continue the policies of George Bush, the failed policies of George Bush, except he does it bigger, better, more, passes the NDAA, and again, most people you talk to that are Obama supporters, they barely know about the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. They certainly don't know about HR 347, or they'll try to minimize it, like, oh, that's no big deal. They'll try to say that, you know, the National Defense, Resource Preparedness Act is no big deal either, right? They'll try to tell you, I mean, on and on. They'll try to tell you that the TSA, you know, it's unnecessary. No, you don't need to give up your liberty. You don't need to give up your paycheck for more security. What you need is to rein your damn government in, get involved in the process, because it's self-governance. It's not governance by them over us. Them is us. Everybody in, like to say, we deserve what we get. Right? We deserve the government we get. But everybody that's in Congress is one of us. They're Americans just like you and me. And see, now you know what's happening? Not only are people becoming delegates, now we got these Ron Paul bots, quote unquote. The Ron Paul bots are running for office. And see, this is the next thing. We're taking over the chairmanships of the Republican Party in various states, and you know, many of the officers and various positions in the Republican Party at the state level, at the local level, and now people are starting to rise up and become candidates, not just delegates. And what you're going to see here is some massive change in this country, because people are getting involved, and they've had enough. We've had enough of these retarded whores on CNN and MSNBC and MSN and all the mainstream media, Fox News. You can tell actually a couple of those Fox News guys, they're for Ron Paul, but they don't want to lose their job, so they can't come out and overtly say it like the judge did and so forth, because look what happened to him when he started being pro Ron Paul. Gee, suddenly he's got a really popular show, but it ain't on the air anymore, is it? Because you wouldn't want to have people, you know, understanding that Ron Paul really is about freedom and liberty and peace, and getting rid of these ridiculous agencies, and having sound fiscal policy, and understanding Austrian economics, and all the things that Ron Paul is for. All they're going to try and do is call him a racist and isolationist, and that's about the best they can do. That's the most dirt they can dig on this guy. And even that's wrong and backwards and stupid. And if you believe it, all you are is a sheep that believes mainstream media. Now, the mainstream media can't get the delegate count right. And this is one thing I want to put in there very quickly, is if they can't cover Ron Paul, all you Ron Paul supporters, do you see where thousands and thousands of people show up? They can't cover that. You think they could cover explosives on 911? Right? You think you're getting the whole story about the IRS? You think you're getting the whole story about what happened in Vietnam? You think you're getting the whole story about what happened in Iraq or Abu Ghraib or Afghanistan or any other damn thing out there? Right? What you have had and what we have right now is a propaganda agency that basically does the bidding of the CIA and the military-industrial complex, big pharma, big money all over this country, and they go out through the talking heads on the media and tell you what they want you to hear. And the Ron Paul campaign absolutely proves this to a T. These guys couldn't say vote fraud if they had a mouthful, right? These guys can't give you the whole story, can't give you the proper delegate count. All they can do is tell you that Romney is a presumptive candidate. And they don't seem to understand that Romney cannot win against Obama without the Ron Paul supporters. And the Ron Paul supporters, myself and many others included, will never vote for Romney. Never. So then what happens? Well, Obama wins, or Ron Paul runs as a third-party candidate. But these guys, I mean, you need to get out there and go to work and just expose the mainstream media nonsense that's going on right now. Because these guys can't cover the story, and they won't. So you need to. Put it on your Facebook page, get it, tweet it, whatever, but get the word out. Ron Paul, 2012.